So Iana Martin is a really interesting player in the WNBA draft this year because the odds of a team drafting her and stashing her is high. A little bit like Aisha Sivka last year and Juste Josite last year as well. Malonga was a bit different because she was insistent on coming over. I think a lot of teams, if you draft an international player, are okay with them developing a year. Because I think if from what we're seeing of Josite and Girona, Josita is having a much better season this year than even Malonga had last year. Like, she's top 5 in MVP voting in EuroLeague, and she's coming over at 20 years old. So, like, Josita is coming over to be a starter. Aisha Sivka's had some good games, some bad games this year, but she's coming over to be just a sniper for the Chicago Sky. I think she'll be an interesting one. And I think Iana Martin is going to be a first-round pick. But what we saw from Iana Martin, she's fucking cold-blooded, man. Holy shit, this is legit. So she's playing against Valencia. Valencia aren't bad. Like, they are not bad at all. Because, like, Valencia they've got two very, very good bigs in Awafam and what you call it. So they have Awafam. Leo Phoebus is on this team. Kayla Alexander's on the team. So they're up by 12 points with 6 minutes to go. As expected, Valencia are the much, much better team. Like, Valencia are the much better team here. So, Martin, she comes up and pulls for 3 on the break down 12. And in this scenario here, this is on the transition defense. Awafam, considering the fact that she is 6'6" with a long wingspan, she did what she could. This is a fadeaway 3. Like, she's contesting while not giving up an open layup. Iana Martin, bang. Doesn't even matter. Iana Martin comes off the pick and roll. They're down by 8 points with 2 minutes to go. Turns the corner fast. Kayla Alexander is nowhere to be seen. Then she reads a pick and roll perfectly, dumps it inside. It's a 7-point game with 52 seconds to go. They're losing. Iana Martin crosses up. Kayla Alexander she stunts at her, doesn't make her step back at all, stays aggressive on this, attacks the closeout, and won. Hits the free throw. Suddenly now it's a 4-point game with 47 seconds to go. This game looked over. It looked absolutely over. And then you've got you've got her playing defense here. And by the way, this is soft as shit. So they don't have the ball, 40-something seconds to go. And if you're wondering why I'm pausing, I can't show too much of this footage constantly without getting copyright claimed. So I'll play like 3 seconds at a time. I do want to apologize for this. So Awafam sets a screen. Then she just flops and the ball gets called for moving screen. That is the softest shit ever. I do have to say, that's soft. Either way though, 14 seconds to go. She has the ball. They're down 4. She dribbles in, shoots a fadeaway contested 3 and nails it. Obviously, an inbound violation from Valencia. 10 seconds to go. After doing all this, she gets the ball off a handoff, dribbles in, drives in, mega travel, by the way, and then scores a game winner over Awafam. How many steps do you guys think she took here? How many steps do you guys think? I counted 6. I counted 6 steps. So we have to count the steps here. Either way, it counted. The only person who can determine whether to travel or not is the referee at that time. So I'm going to count the steps here. So dribbles, that's the gather. If you want to say that's a gather, then she takes 1. That's 1 after the gather. 2, 3, 4. She took 4 steps after the gather. And that is being as generous as possible with the gather. You could argue 5. But that being said, Iana Martin, like, that is a serious game. Like, that is not what you expect from a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old is coming out there pulling off this in a game. Like, she basically put a team on her back. And again, look, she's not playing on a team like of the level of Valencia. But she's a first-round pick. Like, if you guys don't know who Iana Martin is, it's a given that she's a first-round pick. Like, there's no, like, oh, maybe she could be a first round pick, maybe she's not, but like, no, she is a first round pick. It's just how high in the first round she goes. And I don't think she's going to be like a top 5 Shasite pick. But like, I have to say, this game was super impressive. Super duper impressive. And this is a fucking cold-blooded way of winning a game. Like this is something that you see from veteran players. Young players taking over games like this at a high level. Like it is it's genuinely a thing where like you just don't see players that are this young be this freaking good and willing to step up and everything. And like in the last 2 minutes of the game, she had 13 points, an assist, and drew an offensive foul. They were at 14 points with 7 minutes to go, and she came back in a game where they're not favored to win. They weren't favored to win. They're not the better team. And it was genuinely, it was her. It was Iana Martin who looked absolutely unbelievable. Who looked absolutely unbelievable in that game and carried. And again, she was up against a draft prospect. This is a game people are going to watch. She completely outplayed Owl Fam. She had 21, albeit coming into the last few minutes of the game, they both had single digit points. They were both kind of struggling. Again, it was a game where it looked like Valencia were going to win. And this is one of those problems with an Owl Fam is that in this type of a game here, Owl Fam is like they should have won comfortably, and they were winning comfortably. And this is one of those things where it's like you can't just switch it on at the last few minutes. If you're not going to be 100% checked in, you could fuck up and lose a game like this. And that is the flaw with Owl Fam, by the way. That is the flaw, and it's a flaw with young players. And she's got to know that. And I hope that this might flip a switch, being like, look, you gotta fucking lock in, because you're not rival. Like, they were teammates on all these underage Spain teams. Iana Martin was the player originally who was getting more of the hype. Owl Fam was the better player, but Iana Martin was getting more of the hype. So right now, this is a matchup of the two best young players of Spain, and Iana Martin absolutely got the better of her. And I'm not only saying the two best young players in Spain. There's someone in France that I need to watch more of who looks ridiculous. But like, they are the two best undrafted young players in Europe right now. So, two best draft eligible players like Buenavida and Astier are young players who we don't know if they're going to come over. But either way, it is what it is. I'll see you guys.